the old Southern Baptist in me had a real hard battle in my mind whether to talk about this or not. I do cope with having a hard time sleeping. I do cope with the stress of life through drinking beer, and I love beer and always have. But it's come to a point now in my life where it's like, man, this is kind of a tower that the enemy has on me that I'm not wanting to turn loose of. If there's no beer in the fridge on the way home, I'm going to stop and get beer. And then you sit there with your kids, and the more you drink, the more relaxed you come, the less you want to get off the couch, the more lazy you are, period, in the story. And that's what I'm doing every night, just turning myself, right before bedtime for the kids into just this deadbeat dad that doesn't want to get off the couch and play and roughhouse and do all the things I should do. And of course, I still got off the couch and did bath time and read my kids their books and all the things. But all I was thinking about was walking out to the fridge and getting another beer. But I will sing your strength. In the morning, I will sing of your love. For you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. Psalms 59:16. Welcome back to the Art of Suffering podcast with Dalton Darnell. I wanted to start this podcast off with a verse from Psalms because I just kind of started reading in Psalms. Haven't necessarily spent a lot of time in the Old Testament over the years. But I was telling Daryl the other day, I was really looking for someone in the Bible that I could relate to. And because I don't really feel like I relate to Jesus, just in the same way that you wouldn't relate to your baseball coach as a kid, right? Like you want to emulate that, you want to be like him, but because they're so far along in the game, you're not necessarily seeing yourself in that, right? Like Jesus is this perfect human that walked down here and did it perfectly. And he has the most incredible teachings that you could ask for. And if you do everything like him, you're going to do it right. But that's the problem with me, is that I don't do everything like him. I do everything wrong. And so I got to thinking about someone in the biblical text, right, that I could relate to a little bit more. And so King David came up. And I started reading this guy's stuff, and he is just as blunt as you wanted to be, right? He is just pouring his heart out to Christ throughout the troubles of his life. And most of the troubles in King David's life are created by King David. You know what I mean? And that it seems to be the same for me. And so anyways, I wanted to start the podcast off this way. And today we're going to get a little deeper into Dalton's sin, Dalton's flesh, the trouble that I have, and the issues that I face on a daily basis, and some of the things that I've been battling for years now. And honestly, guys, the old Southern Baptist in me had a real hard battle in my mind whether to talk about this or not, right? Because when it comes to sharing your flesh, that could be a very difficult thing. And I kept coming back to is like, man, you're being a freaking hypocrite. If you are not sharing your life with these people that you're walking with, if you're not being honest, then you're not doing them justice. You're not doing yourself justice. We're not offering life lessons. And so in this podcast today, we're going to talk about a big one that a lot of people struggle with. We're going to talk about alcohol. And for the last, many years, I have drank a beer every single night. And I don't mean one beer. And I don't necessarily get sloppy drunk. You know what I mean? That's not me. I don't want to wake up feeling bad in the morning, but I do cope with having a hard time sleeping. I do cope with the stress of life through drinking beer. And I love beer and always have. And, but it's come to a point now in my life where it's like, man, this is kind of a tower, that the enemy has on me that I'm not wanting to turn loose of. And there's been a lot of times over the last year where I've thought, man, I really need to quit drinking this beer. I'm killing my workouts. I'm not, taking care of my body the way I should. It definitely isn't good for my arthritis. But when you walk around every single day, hurting with fires to put out and stuff going on, it's nice to go home at the end of the day and, just chill out and drink a beer. So I have I've been struggling with this for a long time, and I'm happy to say that yesterday was the first day in as long as I can remember that I didn't drink. And I woke up this morning with this sense of accomplishment that I have not felt in a very, very long time. Like I was super freaking proud of myself. And I'll tell you this, yesterday we worked, and then I went to my son's baseball practice. I'm the coach of the team. I had a good practice, and I get home, and the only thing on earth I wanted to do was drink a beer. And I was like, you're not doing it. We're not freaking doing it. Don't go to the fridge and get a beer. Do not do it. And I battled with this for like an hour and a half. In my mind, I didn't say anything to anyone else. I didn't talk to my wife about it. I'm just kind of sitting there in the house. She's finishing up dinner. I ate dinner. I went outside and I got a Sprite. I drank my Sprite with dinner. And as soon as I got through dinner, I was like overwhelmed with accomplishment. I was like, all right, there it is. That's what we were hunting. We did it. We got her done. And I didn't have any trouble the rest of the evening. I freaking drank water all night, went to bed like normal, and woke up this morning feeling like an absolute champion. Like I had this victory over Satan, that something that he's been looming over me, right? And I'm not the kind of guy, and that's the thing. This is how you rationalize in your brain. It's like, do I go home and get drunk every night? No, I don't. But is this something that is controlling me? Yes, most certainly. If there's no beer in the fridge on the way home, I'm going to stop and get beer every night, right? And then you sit there with your kids, and the more you drink, the more relaxed you come, the less you want to get off the couch, the more lazy you are, period, in the story. And that's what I'm doing every night, just turning myself, right before bedtime for the kids into just this deadbeat dad that doesn't want to get off the couch and play and roughhouse and do all the things I should do. And of course, I still got off the couch and did bath time and read my kids their books and all the things. But all I was thinking about was walking out to the fridge and getting another beer. Unacceptable. It's time to look in the mirror on these things. It's time to sit down and evaluate, is this something the enemy is using to make you lazy? Yes. Does it make it harder to get up in the mornings? Yes. Does it make it harder to go to the gym? Yes. Does it make you unhealthy? Yes. Well, then why the hell am I doing it? Why am I doing it? Right? It's just a coping mechanism that needs to be annihilated. So this morning when I got up, I had this newfound sense of like, just want to be healthier, to be smarter, to go harder and longer than everyone else. And it's day one, okay? This is the beginning of the fight. Everybody feels this way at the beginning of the fight, and I'm sure there'll be a podcast in a couple of weeks where I'm like, bro, dog, this is hard. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking. I really don't. I don't think there's anything wrong with going out to dinner and having a beer. There's nothing wrong with that, with enjoying a beer, watching a game, or whatever the case may be. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a problem. We're talking about somebody who is using this to get through life every day. And I don't care what kind of pain you got in your life. I don't care what kind of issues you got. It's a Band-Aid. It's not the answer. And if you listen to King David when he's talking through the Psalms, and I've only read through several of them, but it's not like I've read and memorized the whole book or anything, but it feels to me that this guy's in a continual battle with himself to be a better man. And he's just pouring his heart out to the king in the sense of, I want to be a better man. Right? I don't really know how to be, but I know that you're the key. And so that's my prayer for myself, is that I can maintain my focus on being a better man, that I can maintain my focus on not drinking and not coping with my life in this way. So I know there's a ton of guys on here, or a ton of people on here that struggle with this on a daily basis. And dude, I get it, because I do too. So I want to encourage you to push, and I want you to encourage me to push, because actually sharing this stuff out loud, man, it's like there's this deep sense of imposter syndrome where it's like, man, you're sitting here on the internet talking about Jesus, but you're going home and drinking beer and every night and struggling with that. But I think that's the point. I think that's the point of us walking together through this podcast. The point is that I suck at this. And if I can share with you my shortcomings and you can learn anything from my mistakes, then that's helpful, and vice versa. You guys leave in the comments like, passages from other people talking about Christ, or y'all leave in the comments other verses that helps me. I get text messages from my friends and people in my life who are like, man, we freaking love the podcast. Keep going. I'm struggling too. And that's what I want the message to be. I don't want the message to be as me, some kind of, preacher, because I'm not. I'm just a guy that's freaking grinding out here, dude, that's struggling with his kids, that's doing his best to love his wife the way that she needs to be loved, that's trying to work and make enough money for us to eat, and that's trying to love on people. I don't know anything more than anyone else. All I know is that I've been drinking for the last however long, I can't even remember at this point, and that I don't need to be doing that anymore. That I need to grow and further myself, separate myself from this coping mechanism that's had control over my life. And this podcast, in a way, has encouraged me to do that. And I talked about this yesterday on a podcast, on the Working Cows podcast. That episode should drop later on in April, but I talked about the daily mental focus it takes to maintain this searching for being better. And if we're not doing that, then what are we doing? What are we doing if we're not trying to be better? And this is something that I've rationalized in my head for a long time. It's like, man, it's not a big deal to drink, because it's not. If you do it, every now and then or whatever, but that's not me. And I had to really look at myself in a critical way and go, you can do better than this. This is hindering you. And I literally had the thought yesterday when I was waiting on supper. I was like, how does drinking help me achieve my goals? It doesn't. How does it make me a better father? It doesn't. How does it make me a better husband? It doesn't. How does it make me a better business owner? It doesn't. So why are you doing it? I can make the same argument for the gym and have 10 different reasons why it makes me a better person. No question. And so if I sit down and evaluate those things in my life of like, okay, what is the stronghold and how do we defeat it? It starts making a lot of sense. And this is not fun to look at. It's not fun to look at. It's not fun to sit down and look at yourself and go, man, you've been wrong for a long time. And as the old adage goes, you don't want to stay wrong for too long. And I've been wrong for too long. It's time to get a hold of this thing. And honestly, the feeling of self-confidence, the feeling of achievement by just getting day one in is so motivating for me. And sharing this out loud, sitting here talking to this camera in the hopes that someone on the other end can learn from it, is very freeing. It's very freeing. I don't have the answers, man. Because here's the thing, if we're being completely honest, somebody would say to me or say to you, just pray about it. Man, that doesn't always make it go away. Just talk to the king about it, right? Talk to your wife about it. It doesn't make it want to go away. And in me and Richard's episode, we talked about the mind, body, and the spirit taking a hold of the mind so you can control the body. And you strengthen your spirit by having a relationship with Christ. And then the hope there is that he hones you into a warrior that can win these battles, that can win and defeat these strongholds with the enemy. And the fact of the matter is that I feel like God's been preparing me for a long time for this, because I've been thinking about it for a long time. We're talking a year and a half. I've been like, man, I need to quit drinking. Man, I need to quit drinking. Man, I need to quit drinking. And then I still go crack one. Walk right to the fridge, get a beer, go to drinking it. And nobody in my life is going to tell me not to do that. You know, it's not like I'm getting sloppy drunk every day and can't get up and go to work. I manage, you know what I mean? I get out of bed, I go to the gym still. What are they going to say? Hey, man, you're ruining your life with this. That's not really the case, but I am. And that's the point, is that what kind of example do I want to set for my sons? What kind of example do I want to set for my wife? How do I want to lead, right? Is it with a beer in my hand? Do I want to be that fat old dad with the beer belly standing there in the yard? Not drunk, because you're not drunk. If you drink enough of it, you don't get drunk anymore. You're just drinking and you're just getting fat. So it was a win. Yesterday was a win. Today's going to be a win. I am not naive to the fact that this is going to be a all-out fist fight with the enemy. I want to feel better when I wake up. I want to feel good at the gym. I want to feel like what I'm doing is making my life better. And this is part of that. It's part of it. And I want to encourage you guys to make it a point in your life. And if it's not alcohol, it's something else, something that you can sit down and systematically deconstruct with the Lord that the enemy has done in your life, that the enemy has a hold of you on. You can sit down, build a strategy, and freaking get after it. Because that's what it takes. It's a fight, man. It's a freaking fight. And it's not an easy one. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to be a battle. And if you go into a fight flat-footed, not understanding that it's a battle, you're going to get your ass whooped. If you go into a fight without the weapons or the tools that you need to win that God can offer you, you're going to get your ass whooped. So find them. Find the tools, find the weapons, build the strategy, and attack that son of a gun. That's what it takes. At least that's what it takes for me. And then know that we're on your team. All the people sitting here listening to this want you to succeed. We want you to win, and we want you to help. Get in the comments, freaking talk to people, build connections. Let's create a community of men who hold each other accountable, do not become offended when someone offers structural criticism, and that attack problems. These are the kind of men who change the world. Bold men who are willing to put themselves out there and who are willing to share their weaknesses. And this promotes God's glory. Period. And if that's my role, well, then I'm happy to sit here and say it out loud. Because what else matters, dude? And even if my son listens to this in 15 years and it changes his life, then it's worth it. If he can see my weakness and see God's strength through that, then it's worth it. And like my refuge in times of trouble, the King is my fortress, man. He's the fortress. But the fact is that he's put all of us down here together for a common purpose, and we should share in that, I think. And this is my attempt at that. Sitting down and talking to Richard, sitting down and talking to Corey, sitting down and talking to Abby. This is the last 3 podcasts I've done. This is my attempt at walking with you guys, walking with them, sharing the weakness, sharing the struggle, the suffering, and then trying to do it better together. And so I'm here to tell you, the drinking has had a hold of me for a long time. And we have a newfound sense of purpose, a newfound sense of goal orientation, right? To get healthier, get faster, get stronger, get meaner, become a absolute warrior for God's purpose in my life. That is my goal. And on this podcast, my goal is to simply share that goal with you. As we walk along together, I want to encourage you to do the same thing because it's worth it. And not that it's easy, but nothing that's worth it is easy, ever. So keep that in mind. Going forward, I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you for watching the podcast, for listening to the podcast on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. And I want to especially thank all the people who've reached out. If you haven't subscribed to the 310 EDU YouTube channel where we post this podcast, please do. Helps us out a ton. 310 EDU is an educational website where we teach roping. But we can teach a lot more than that, and we can share a lot more than that, and we can walk together through all of these challenging things. My hope is for the podcast to turn into something that where people come on and share their sufferings, whether they're a cowhand or just a normal person, or a person with a different job. That's my hope. We'll see what it does. We're going to keep after it. We're going to stay disciplined and focused. Probably be easier not drinking, honestly. So today marks the day 1 is completed. We're working on day 2, and we're going to keep after it. And I'm proud of myself, guys. I truly am. I am. I walked into my team here at the rope shop this morning, and I was like, guys, yesterday was the first day I didn't drink a beer in a really long time, and I am freaking proud of myself. And, of course, they were proud of me as well. My wife is proud of me. It's a cool thing. It's a cool feeling. And if you don't have that support in your life, I would love to be that. You can send me an email at dalton@310edu.com. We can visit about it. I love you guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video.